Hi guys, today I want to show you how to make 4 different pie doughs. This is Pie Dough Making 101. You're watching the Bear Pantry Show. Okay guys, so take a look at what we have here on the counter. This section right here, this pie dough is called Simple Short Crust Dough. And you're going to use that one to make any type of lemon pie or shortbread or chocolate pie, chocolate mousse pie, anything like that. You're going to use this pie dough right here. This middle section has my BELIZEAN Sweet Pie Dough, and I've made this one for you guys before. I have a video at the side, I think a separate video with this one already, but it's the larger scaled recipe that I have, so I've scaled it down here for you guys to make like just the bottom of a pie, like for a lemon pie or something, and you can totally use this for the jam rolls and the tarts and so on too, okay? This section right here, we have the Simple Pie Dough, and it's really simple to make, and you're going to use this to make homemade apple pies. You're going to love this one. Over here, the last one is the pot pie dough, and you guys know I've done this before when I did the turkey pot pie, and you're supposed to use self-rising flour with it, but we do a thing where we make our own self-rising flour, so we're going to get to that later. So what I'm going to do now is start off with my BELIZEAN Sweet Pie Dough, and I'm going to move everything else out the way. I'm going to put up a graphic so you guys can see what the ingredients are, and we're going to make that, put it in the fridge, and then move on to the next one. Let's get started. Alright, so like I said, very simple. This is 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour, and I very seldom sift my flour, I'll be honest with you, but you can sift it if you want. This is a 1/4 cup of white sugar, and our Belize pie dough is very sweet. Let me get it all out. And then what I have here is 1/8 of a cup of butter and 1/8 of a cup of shortening, okay? Now, when it comes to Belize pie dough, the people in Belize mostly just use shortening. They don't very seldom use butter. But I've changed it years ago for me because I like the blend of the shortening with the butter in it, okay? But it's only 1/8 of a cup and 1/8 of a cup, and I'm gonna try to figure out how much that is in sticks for you guys, okay, and put it as a graphic or something. I don't wanna say it and then say it wrong, right? So now this is all room temperature if you notice. When it comes to the Belize pie dough, I've never really did the butter cold and cut it into cubes like you're going to see me do with the other pie doughs. And it's because it's never posed a problem for me, you know, so this is pretty much room temperature. And you know, shortening doesn't really melt as much as butter does even when it's at room temperature, right? So in any case, we're still cutting it into the flour mixture. That's all we're doing. And if you're a pro, you can pick up this cup of water right here and start pouring water to make the dough. But we don't want to do that. I want you guys to get this right. And so what I'm going to do is start measuring with tablespoons, and I have ice water, and I'm going to measure like a couple of tablespoons to start off. We're definitely going to need more than a couple, but just let me start with that. And I'm going to keep the camera on because I really want you guys to see, you know, how simple this is to make. I don't want for you to skip any step and say, oh, she went too quickly and, you know, she must have put more water and more flour to make hers come out good or whatever. Everything is measured precisely, and you know what? This is feeling pretty good. I'm not really sure if we're going to need any more water than a couple of tablespoons of water to make this dough. I'm almost certain we won't. So it's almost there, and all you're doing is kind of like mix it together. I'm not really kneading because when it comes to pie dough, you don't really want to knead per se. So I'm going to have to try to remember which pie dough is which when I'm done because I have 2 bowls that look like this. But in any case, this is pretty much done. See? All I've done is like clump this up together. And we want to go ahead and put this on the refrigerator so that it rests in the refrigerator for a little while. I'd say 15 minutes or so before you start kneading this out to make the bottom of your lemon meringue pie, okay? So see, it's pretty much done. And something that I've seen people do with pie dough, if you're gonna knead it, you know, for lack of a better word, you don't knead it like bread. You want to just smash it out like that. That does something fancy to it. I don't know. You guys know I'm not a chef, right? That I'm totally self-taught, and family and stuff taught me, right? So here it is. This is the first one. I'm going to leave that as a ball so we can know that this is a BELIZEAN Sweet Pie Dough. The other ones I'll probably do as a disc or something. Leave that as a ball. Go ahead and put this in the refrigerator, and then we're going to move on to the second pie dough. Okay, so this is pie dough number 2, and this one is called simple pie dough, for lack of a better word, because it's so simple. 4 ingredients, and it's 3/4 cups of flour, again, just like my Belize pie dough, but it's way less sugar. Instead of 1/4 cup of sugar, I'm using only a tablespoon, okay? But it's still gonna be good. Just hang on. Stick with me. And the butter, see the butter? It's cold from the refrigerator, and I'm gonna dice it into little bitty bitty pieces before I cut it into the flour, okay? So, very simple to do when you want to do this. And you want to keep it in the refrigerator right up until you're going to start doing this, alright? So let me move this out the way so you guys can see. So this is all I'm doing. It's just dicing the butter up. And I like doing it this way when I'm doing the pot pie recipe because you get little chunks of butter sometimes when you bite into the pie. So here we go, and this is only a half a stick of butter, okay? And 1 stick of butter is equal to half a cup, and so half a stick would be 1/4 cup. So dump it in here, and before we add the milk, what we want to do is just kind of go ahead and squeeze the butter between our thumb and our forefinger. And if you have a pastry blender, you can do that. You know that thing that goes like the little hooky thing. I don't own one of those. I think they're really reasonably priced at the store. I've never checked on the price, but the way I look at that is something else that I have to clean, and that will deter a lot of people from cooking when you have to just clean a whole bunch of mess all the time. So just use your fingers, get on in here and just kind of pinch the butter with between your fingers and mix it up well in the flour. Okay, so what I have here is 2 tablespoons of cold milk from the refrigerator. And I don't know that, it will make a difference if it's fat-free or 2% or, whole milk. But I'm using whole milk, okay, just so you know. And I'm going to add half of the amount of milk first. Get it worked in. I already know I need the rest. So let me go ahead and add the rest in here. And we're just going to go ahead and mix this up really well until it forms a ball, okay? See, there's nothing hard to making pie doughs at all. Don't ever let it scare you, saying, oh, it's too hard. Scrape out every drop of milk that I can get. And I'm just going to stay here and kind of like squeeze it like this, just like I did with the other one, the Belize one, until it makes a ball. Okay, so here it is. Nice little ball. And this is like the same, almost the same recipe to the Belizean one, except the Belizean one has more sugar and this one has a little bit less sugar, and I think the butter comes to about the same amount of when we totaled up the butter and the shortening, but I don't want to confuse you guys. So this is the simple one, the simple pie dough, and I'm going to use this, the next episode that I'm going to tape today, I'm going to be doing this homemade apple pie, and I'm going to be using this dough for that. I'm going to need to make the top because this is only going to be the bottom, but I want to show you guys this I'm going to use for apple pie, so I'm going to upload that on Tuesday, okay, because I want to upload this quickly as I can so you guys can have the information to get you ready for the upcoming Thanksgiving holiday. So let me set this aside. And now what I'm going to do is go to the more complex one, and don't panic because it's not really hard. I'm going to go to the more complex one to show you a different beautiful pie dough. Okay, so here's my third one. I hope this video is not too long for you guys. This one is pretty awesome. I'm going to put stuff in this pie dough that you're never going to imagine would go in a pie dough, okay? First of all, check this bowl out right here. This is 1.5, I'm going to check my recipe list. This is 1.5 cups of cake flour, okay? Not all-purpose flour, it's cake flour. And you really need to use the cake flour for this one because this is going to be a really tender type of pie dough. Now it calls for 7 tablespoons of unsalted butter. And by the way, the butter I've been using for all the pie dough, they've all been unsalted, alright? But I've used the salted one in the past and it doesn't make a difference. So because it calls for 7 tablespoons and it's not supposed to be at room temperature, how am I going to measure 7 tablespoons, right? So I've measured it here for you. This is 1 stick, and 1 stick holds 8 tablespoons. So what I'm going to do is some rough justice, and I'm just going to cut off a little smidgen right there, and I'm going to remove that out of this. Call that a tablespoon. That's Barbara's way of doing it, okay? It's just a little piece. So check out my ingredients list right now. I'm going to put up a graphic so you can see what all the ingredients are. Plus I'm going to go over them too as I put them in a bowl. Take a look. Alright, so let's begin. The first thing that we want to do is get all the dry ingredients in. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys that this calls for Caster's sugar. You may have seen it on the list. And Caster's sugar is like a cross between confectioner or powder sugar or icing sugar and regular granulated sugar. I don't know where to find that in my little town, so I made my own. I put a little bit of granulated sugar in my little magic bullet here and gave it a whisk. And I've got Caster's, beautiful Caster sugar. It calls for 1 teaspoon of the Caster sugar. And I just stored it in this thing here. Take a look, see? It's a little bit finer than regular sugar, but it's not as fine as powder sugar. So I put that in there. It's my other dry ingredient. And I'm going to go ahead and dice up my butter into small little pieces. If you guys notice, it's almost a whole stick of butter, okay? Except for the little piece that I cut off and took out. And don't panic, because I'm going to show you the right way to bake these pie doughs. Like if you're doing a lemon pie and stuff. I'm going to show you the wrong way to put it in a bit. I even hate to do that but to my pie dough because it's so beautiful. But I'm going to show you the wrong way, and I'm going to show you the right way. So let me get my butter going. And the smaller you dice it, the better for when you put it in here, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and add my wet ingredients. This is a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract. This is 1 tablespoon of water, and it's cold. It calls for a pinch. I put some salt on the counter. A pinch is literally a pinch of salt. And if you're using the salted butter, then you won't need the pinch of salt, all right? And then I have here 1 egg. Let me beat it lightly for you guys. Put the 1 egg in. And then I already put the sugar. This is literally 2 drops of lemon. So I'm going to take this lemon right here and squeeze 2 drops, okay? Let's see if I can do that. 1, 2. Joe is running the cameras for me today, and he's just like giggling. He's never seen something like this before. So let me get my hands in here and start mixing this. Let me double check my recipes to make sure I have everything in here. I've got cake flour, butter, egg, water, vanilla extract, salt, Caster sugar, and 2 drops of lemon. So now all I'm going to do is work my butter in. And the same thing happens like with the other pie doughs, okay? I just go ahead and pinch it between my fingers. And then we're going to start working it into a ball. So here we are just about a minute or so later, just really working this in. I didn't put any more wet ingredient, and no more ingredients at all, but definitely I didn't put anything else. You just kind of have to really work this in to a ball. And this one, we're going to store this a little bit differently than the other 2. The other 2, all I did was go ahead and stick it in the bowl that I needed it up in and stick it in the refrigerator. This one, if you notice, right here, it's really, really sticky. See, it's a really, really sticky dough, kind of like when I do the dough for the pot pies. So this is going to be stored a little bit differently, okay? And this dough right here, you want to do that thing that I was showing you. You want to set it on the counter and do that, press it out, just a little bit, okay? Not really kneading, but pressing it out. And I think this also helps the butter to get in there really well. So just press it out. And then let me show you how we go ahead and store this one. Okay guys, so here it is. See how sticky it is on the counter there? I told you guys this one's the more sticky dough, but this one's the most delicate of all. You want to put it in some wax paper. Put the ball right in the middle and fold it up, and then you want to squish it in the shape of like a round disc, okay? And I'm going to put this in the refrigerator and allow it to rest for like 1 hour or overnight. But I don't have overnight to waste with this, so in an hour I'll see you guys, and then we'll be rolling out the dough to make 2 different pie shells, okay? Okay, so this is the final pie dough that I'm going to show you guys today, and this is for any of your salty type meat pies, okay? This specifically is for the chicken pot pie and the turkey pot pie. We're starting off here with a cup of all-purpose flour, and it's supposed to be self-rising flour, but I don't buy that, and I don't see myself buying that at all. So we're going to make it self-rising, and I did it before in the turkey pot pie recipe. I did it a little bit different where I only removed 1.5 teaspoons of the flour out. This time I'm going to remove 2 teaspoons, okay? So all you do is go and measure your cup of flour first, and you go ahead and remove 2 teaspoons out. And pretty much put that aside like for flour at the counter or something when you're doing the thing. And in this little bowl right here, what I've replaced those 2 teaspoons of flour with is 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, not baking soda, but baking powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt, okay? So that's pretty much what we have in here. So all we want to do is dump it in there. And this dough is going to be very, very flaky, so we're going to use a whole stick of butter. See? I've already diced it up because you guys know the routine. Dice it up into small pieces, get it in the flour mixture, and start working it around with my fingertips. So let me get that done, and then when I come back, we're going to be adding the cold ice water. Okay, so if you notice, take a look. It's really moist already with the stick of butter that we put in there, so let's measure our water again. I'm going to start with 2 tablespoons. I don't want to put more than that because I don't want to get it over wet. I think we're good. I think we're good with the 2 tablespoons already. We won't need more than that. So see, this dough is really sticky. It's just like the other delicate pie dough that I did for the sweet pie. But this is going to be a salted pie dough, so to speak. Get this in a little bit of flour here on the counter. And pretty much this is done. When I did the turkey pot pies, I did 4 cups of flour instead of 1. So this is going to give you 1 pie bottom without the top. And I don't know why you'd want that to make some type of meat pie, because you're going to want a lid to make a meat pie. So I don't know what's the purpose of this. I think what I'll do is I'll put it like in the little pans, you know, little muffin pans, and see how many pot pies we get from the small pot pies, because this is not going to be able to make like an 8 or 9 inch pot pie, because you're going to need another one like this for the lid, okay? So let me put this in the refrigerator and let it rest for a while, and then when I come back, I'm going to be showing you the 2 of the sweet pie doughs, the Belizean one and the one that's more complicated with the egg. I'm going to show you how to roll that out and put that in like an 8 or 9 inch pie pan. And the other one, the other simple one, I'm not going to mess with that because that's for the next episode that I'm going to do, which is going to be homemade apple pie. This one, I'm going to put it in the muffin pans and see how many we get, the lids and the bottoms, okay? So I'll be back shortly. Okay guys, so I want to show you the 2 dough, the Belize sweet dough and the one that was like so complicated to make with egg and stuff. I want to show you, I have 2 Pyrex dish here that's buttered already. I have 2, and I want to show you guys the wrong way and the right way to load these Pyrex thing, okay? So first of all, when you're rolling out the pie, you want to start in the middle, start in the center and go outwards, okay? And you can put a little bit of flour on the rolling pin, and the counter was floured really well. And this is the pie pan, right, or the Pyrex dish. You want to turn it down, face down. And see, we have a little bit of the trim left over, but not a whole lot like around this area. And so, but I'm purposely doing it like this because I want to show you guys what not to do, okay? Okay, so I know you're tempted to like cut it right around here. And that's exactly what I'm doing. And it pains my heart to do that because you're going to see why when we bake it. So let me clear this out. Get up my... Alright guys, so take a look at the first one. This is the Belize sweet pie dough. And I cut it really close to the rim because I wanted to show you guys. See? It's not like lapped over here. And I'm going to bake it that way to show you guys what happens when you cut it too close, alright? This is the next pie dough right here that you see on the counter. This is the one, I call it the delicate one. This is the one that has the egg. If you notice, it's gorgeous already. Look at the color in it. Look at the color. See, it's yellow and beautiful. It feels better too. Like when you're rolling the rolling pin, it feels so smooth. And you know guys, I'm not really good at making a perfect circle, and I think that takes years of practice, but if you start in the middle and you work your way out towards the edges, you'll get somewhat of a circle. But I love this pie dough. I made a lemon pie from it yesterday. Let me stop for a minute and show you guys. Look how gorgeous this is. Gorgeous and yellow. Look at the bottom. It's flaky on the bottom. Got the beautiful lemon pie. And by the way, this is the apple pie that I made from the other dough, which is awesome too, okay? So let me measure with my pie thingy. And this is pretty good. And what we're going to do is leave some out right here. So we're cutting it away from the rim, because we want to have enough stuff to do the fluting. So let me get rid of this. Pick up my pie dish, and you can do this with it. See? Check it out, guys. I learned this when I went to school in Belize and took home ec. Let's do that. Isn't that gorgeous? So this is how this will go. You don't want to stretch it too much, alright? You don't want to stretch it too much. And what you can do is take a little piece of this dough and kind of use it as your, to go around and set it in there. Take out all the air bubbles. It's kind of like your sponge, you know? In fluting, you take one finger and you push in and you squeeze with the other two fingers. And that's all it is. That's all it is, the fluting. Get it up off the edge, poke it in there, and make it your own little special design. Now, remember these are the 2 pie doughs, and we want to do, like, let's say we're going to do lemon pie in both of them, or some type of tart, right? We'd want to bake this first, like, and then take it out and then put the filling in. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave this just like this to show you guys the wrong way. And on this one, I already have this pre-measured for you. I've got this aluminum foil with some rice to weight it down. Just going to spread it out in there. Weight it down. And I think they have something called baking beans, you know, for you to use. You can use some type of beans, but I don't know if you can use regular beans that I would cook, but I've used rice before. And that's weighting it down. I'm not going to do that to this one because I want to show you what happens when we don't do all these fancy things to it, okay? So let me get it in the oven. It's already preheated on 350. I'm going to bake it for about 15 minutes, more or less, and then I'm going to come back and show you what we do next to this, all right? Okay, guys, so I baked the 2 empty pie shells. I think it's called like blind bake or something. But I baked them in the oven for about 15 minutes on 350, and now take a look at what they look like. Let me get this rice concoction out the way. See the difference? See how that's like kind of poofy? It didn't really overdo it, but sometimes it does. But see the edges right there? How it's all shrunken? Because I didn't give that excess. So this one is a little bit better, but we could have still do a better job with it. But what I'm going to do now is use my egg wash to go ahead and just paint over this. I'm going to do both of them, okay? And remember, this is like if you want to do the Belizean coconut tarts. Maybe you want to put some jam in this. Make some sweet jam tarts or something. And also if you want to do lemon pie, especially for lemon pie, alright? And I could imagine this one's going to be real good with lemon pie because we dropped a couple drops of lemon in that one, remember? So I'm just basically coating with the egg wash. Hear that chime just now, somebody's sending me a text. That's my main problem that I have when I'm doing this show. All the phones seem to always be ringing. I can turn the volume down on a cell phone, but I can't turn it down on the house phone because then nobody will be able to reach me and stuff's happening and nobody can tell you. And anywho, I'm going to put this back for a few minutes in the oven. I would figure about 10, but we'll know when it's done because it's going to look more golden brown. I'll be back. Alright, so take a look. This is nice and crunchy. You can put anything in it that you want. This is the one, and this is still good, you know, but I'm just showing you guys, you don't want it to like slouch off of there like that. And like I said, we got 3 of these pies out of it, and I used the other pie dough to make my gorgeous apple pie. See over there? My apple pie. Okay, so it got real busy real quick in here, but these are the pie doughs, guys. Awesome. Don't look at these. Those are things we're eating today. George showing everything. Yeah. Thanks so much for watching the show, for liking, for sharing, for everything that you do to support me. And I really hope that this helps you in your decision making of what you're going to make for Thanksgiving or the upcoming holidays at Christmas time, okay? Until I see you again, take care. Don't forget to stop by my vlog right here on YouTube. It's called Babs Bear Talk. Please be sure to stop by my review channel right here on YouTube. It's called Bear Pantry Talk.